But here's the difference. I can discover something in the universe, but if I didn't do it, somebody else after me will discover that exact same thing. Whereas in the arts, what you create, no one who was ever born before you or will be born from your death onwards will ever compose exactly the same thing you did.
That is my question. Because my answer, I think it's coming from a genuine place. I can say the sun is screaming, the sky is moving, and I'm about to jump over the cloud just for you. I can't say that. But let's just say I pop that into
That was fire though. That was fire though.
I pop that into the AI and I tell it generate something for me. It generates it, I read it, I tweak it a little bit, I tell it to make it sound a little bit more like me based off how it knows me speaking. Add this word, subtract this word, and I take that poem and I send it. If I send that to my woman and she doesn't know, she reads it, she loves it. Is that coming from a genuine place? Why I say that? As a man, you may, as a poet that you are not to, you may look at it the opposite because you're saying it's not genuine because I didn't write it down or I didn't make it feel like it should feel. But for me, it did what it needed to do for me based off what I prompted. Right? So for me, it's genuine. And I'm not going to tell her it's AI generated. Should I tell her this was from the AI? Should I say, baby, the message I sent you was from the AI? Or is she going to be thinking this is from the AI? What will she read? When she reads Love Note, if it hits her a certain way, based on if she knows me long enough, she's probably gonna say, well, this not sound like who you met write this, right? Or something like that. But that is the question. So what would you say, Nato? Is that not genuine?
I wouldn't take the perspective that that is not genuine. I feel like one of the benefits of AI is it evens the playing field somewhat between
Oh, good.
persons who are on some level experts, in as much as you can consider the AI to be an expert in something, but I feel like it evens
Right.
that playing field. So if you are somebody who you are not necessarily gifted or you're not necessarily interested in
Yeah.
language to that extent that you would write a poem, but you still have those feelings that any poet
Right.
would rely on to write a
Yeah.
poem, and then you use that to prompt a poem, I wouldn't question the merit behind it. I wouldn't label it as not being genuine, because it would be no different than if you came to me as your friend who you know is a good poet, and say,
Ask it.
Right.
yo,
Yeah.
help me write this.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
in that way, I wouldn't then say it's not genuine. You know, the only
I would
so this is
say.
how I think about it. This is how I think about it, for example. Because I feel like we're headed towards a future that you either use AI or get left behind. That's where we're heading.
Mm,
You can't necessarily have a purist perspective of I will never use it and expect to compete with somebody who will be using it. It simply
right.
just won't happen. So
Yeah.
we're headed towards a future where competency will be measured by your efficiency with AI, not
Hmm.
without. In the future, if you are not using AI, you are basically somebody you are not counted, basically.
Yeah.
But how I look at it though, and on the craft side, as Steph said, because that distinction was very important. And that's where I kind of want to spotlight right now. On the craft side of it, right? There are certain things that even if you had the power to, you wouldn't necessarily outsource. So, for instance, if you are, would you, if in the future there is a technology that allows you to generate memories, so you can generate a memory that you've never actually experienced, but you can create, essentially implant a false memory where we went to Paris and let's say a company offers that, would you subscribe to that service where you can essentially generate memories and pay to own those memories.
That sound like that sound like a Black Mirror episode.
Right, it one. And I think we would agree that creating a memory would be, even if the end result is the same, like you have this memory and it makes you feel good. We would agree that there's some value in creating as opposed to just having. And so that's where I feel like the conversation with artificially generated content or stuff, it's different. It's almost an expression of what makes you human. And even from an ethical perspective, if using that same scenario, you were able to implant a false memory into the head of one of your loved ones who, let's say, they are suffering or they're going through something, you might have good intentions of wanting to do that. And giving them and buying that false memory for them would make them feel good. But you would bear the burden of what that is, because you know that as much as it's having a very real impact on you, that memory simply just doesn't exist. So I do feel like from that perspective, when you consider what Neil deGrasse Tyson is saying, there's an inherent value to creating, to crafting art, that even if the end result is the same, which is what I said earlier, because we are so focused on the production element of it, persons are typically just focused on the end product. We want a good painting, so I'm going to generate a good painting. But we've lost our focus from what the value of going through that thing is. You know, it's what happens when the child of a billionaire comes and they have access to all this money, and that's a dilemma, because you have afforded a certain life for you and your family. But the lessons that allowed you to get to that level, no, you can't necessarily give that to them, because what you have access to now essentially shields them from the effort that is required to develop that character. So it's essentially a question of, would you prefer to buy this character or would you prefer to develop this character? And your answer to that will essentially be a reflection on whether or not you prioritize what the end product is or what the process is. And I feel like we could benefit from being more process oriented, because the process is I feel that's where the magic is. Sure, you can look at a finished product and say, oh, that's really beautiful. But the story, as you mentioned, the story behind that, I feel like it transcends the art, and it's what adds the value to it, as you point.
So it's really I think it's based on the intention or the objective behind it. So for example, some assignments, like I said, I'll let students use AI, right? But when it comes to reflection, that's a no-no. I don't want you to ask GPT to reflect on your thought. That doesn't make sense. But also it's because I'm trying to understand your thinking. I'm not judging you or grading you, right? And I feel like a lot of, like you said, production, we are in the constant state of, we want to produce the best thing for social acceptance. And going back to Rimsey's example of the using typing in the prompts to generate the thing, right? It's genuine, the feeling, but it's not necessarily honest. Right? Because if they and it's two different things, because if the woman asks you, oh wow, did you create this? And you say, shit, based on what my response is going to have an impact on what she's saying. Now if that's higher level dishonesty or not, that's something else. But that's like you have a date.
So if I responded, yes, I created it.
Well, you're not honest. I mean, it's not the end of the world. No, because okay, well, you're right. If she asks if you created it, you could say you're right. But if she asks if you wrote it, if she says if you wrote it, exactly right. Okay. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and that goes to like even what the notion of creating is. Like even I was gonna give the example of, let's say you have a date and you get one of them ready-made microwave meal, right? And somebody come over and you have it on the spread and you say, you made this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You did. You put it in the
You
microwave.
put it
It
together,
will.
warm it up.
It's just if you cook this from scratch, that's
That
something
different.
else.
Yeah.
But the end result is what matters. Now, if the process is what is more important, right? If you wanted to learn or understand the process of chefing a meal or all of those things, because you feel again you might not always have that means to have something ready made, so it's important to understand how to do it, right? I feel like when I ask a student to write a reflection, it's because I want you to be able to translate your thoughts into actual
Right.
written things, because that's a muscle you don't want to lose. Simple as that. Just like if where's what them foolish ab machine thing where them sell where you strap it to your stomach and it jiggle and it promise to give you abs and all of them something. No, that's not that. That I think it's important to understand how to do a sit up, and it's important to understand how to work out your core so that your muscle don't atrophy and all of those things, right? If you choose to do that, that's up to you. If you choose to do a BBL drizzy, that's up to you. But I think it's important for you to understand how to do those things. And the brain is a muscle, and of course, they say that the more people use AI before trying to solve problems of their own, research is showing that they're losing that part of their brain, right?
Yeah.
They're losing that part of their brain. But if I had to make a prediction, an outlandish prediction, I'm going to say whether it's in the next 50 to 100 years, we won't look at artificial intelligence as artificial intelligence. It's just going to be intelligence. Simple as that. It's just going to be, especially if people like Elon Musk having way with the chip and all of them things. I predict that in the next 100 years or so, when we have a question that we want answered, it's going to be a chip in our mind, and we simply think about it, and we get the thought uploaded into our brain. That separation between device and AI and ourselves, I feel like that is going to be that is quickly dwindling. Right? Just imagine, yes, you say, what's the what's the population of such and such, and you think about it, and the chip in your brain give you the response. Just upload it to your brain one time.
So we will not be using many parts of our brains. We're gonna be a
Right.
very dunce generation.
Well,
Dent and dunce.
again, yeah, exactly. If we're going back to the science and the art, we might have more information, as Bob Marley saying, the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty, right? We have more access now than ever, and information than ever before, but people are more ignorant because it's just so available, right? It's just so available.
That right there, I feel, is the biggest pitfall of it. Access to it. I remember in one of our classes back at UE, you said knowledge isn't power, the utilization of knowledge is power. Right?
The application of knowledge, yep.
Right. And the danger that we face by being so end product oriented is that we have access to this information, but we didn't learn how to sort of arrive at that place
Mm-hmm,
beforehand.
mm-hmm,
And so, what does it profit you to have all this information, but to not have the faculties to creatively use that information? And that is the
yeah.
value of art. You can sit and look at a bird perching on a limb, and three different persons might come up with three different things or three different interpretations of it, right? And that diversity of perspective is what art affords you. I feel like there is a
Mm-hmm.
singularity that exists with AI where, and perhaps I'm just speaking based on what exists now, but I wouldn't go so far as to say AI is infinitely creative. AI can simulate a lot of what creation is, but to say it's infinitely creative would be a different argument. And so the value of effort, I feel, comes down to the true benefits of how you think about the effort, of how you grow through figuring it out. That like you guys, if you were working out with somebody, right, and with a guy, and he says, yo, You can't do that. One new service drop, you know. Why? No dog. In a gym. In a gym. In a gym. If you were working out in a gym, if you were at a gym, if wait, this not sound, how we say this sign of sound stuff.
Yeah, wobbly now.
If
Yeah,
if
wobble hard.
hold on, I got this. I got this. If you were, I mean, I got this. There's no way if you say I work out in a one gym without any kind of sound.
Fitness center, fitness center. Yeah.
Yeah, if you are in a fitness center, right? And somebody who you might see occasionally at that fitness center, whom you happen to develop a fitness center focused relationship with, say to you one day, yo, can't bother this dog. One new service I drop now, we can just go customize a body and muscle I want. And we can just buy that cheap and I'm gonna do it. Man go buy muscles them and come in. How would you perceive that that individual? Would it be any different to you? Or would it just be about
That honestly,
Brother,
honestly,
right now,
that
I go buy some muscle right now. Right now, I go buy some muscle. Me not go roll.
honestly, I wouldn't look at that.
crazy? I say you're not gonna get the big deal up.
You know, me sore up and pain up after gym, you know. So man, me don't want to get up 5 o'clock. Brother, I'm gonna put on some shoulder and some neck sitting and
Is
call it
for
out.
me? It's going back to it. For me, it's the process. Is the escape that going to the Kim affords me, right? The physique and all of those things. I feel like is an excellent byproduct, and that's probably like the motivation. But just going and locking and pushing myself to a certain level, I think
Yeah,
that's where the value is, right?
yeah,
Effort, right?
100%.
But
It's
as
a
Ramsey said,
release.
more while sometimes you're like, yo, it's unforgiving, dog. You can work out for 3 years and you not go Kim for 1 month and you lose everything. It's a painful, sometimes no for real. So sometimes you say, yo, me really wish me could have just tuck
Or
on a
you get
couple.
or you get
Yeah,
an injury. Or you get an
yeah.
injury and
You see it.
you
And
can't
you
lift
can't do
it.
nothing and and your physique just drop. You see it. So me understand. But while we're on the topic of art, we want to finish with this. This is powerful. I want everybody. This was not AI generated as great as it looks. This is not AI generated.
That's bid.
What proof for that? What
That's
proof?
bid.
Yeah. Yeah, make we
What proof?
wait me what the proof. Yo, me can't you understand this real time. Let me show you. Let me show you something. What's that? Bombard. What's that now? What's that?
That's
This
art.
it's in that's art, right? Let me give her like a halo. Right? No, this is
Yeah.
you have to understand. You have to understand. So we started bidding at 1 million. This story behind this, as it says, is nuance. If you understand what nuance mean, if you don't understand it, go look it up. That's the value of it.
You have AI
Right?
now if you look
Hold
it up.
on.
You have AI now if you look it up. Just think about it.
This piece is actually a commentary on the pressures of society because you can see on the right of her, the walls are closing in, and on the left there is chaos, but above there is the light.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, poetry.
So we'll leave it there. I'll start the bidding. It's poetry and art, and it's part.
All right.
Just think about that. Think about that. So we'll leave it. We'll leave it there. So I want people to answer Rimsey question. Is it genuine? That's one thing. The second thing, I want the people to ever check out Natu poetry because the man is a poet for real, for real, for real. Your book still up on Amazon, Natu?
I not think so. I not think so. But my poetry is still on IG and on my page.
Yeah, man. Like we're talking about it. We're talking about the nuances. But hence, when I say nuance, you see everything tying. So we start. The other thing is we starting the bidding on this now. Please,
Better.
may I try. May I try.
And
May I
if
try it.
and
I
if
try
you want
retire.
if you want an AI generated love letter, check me.
The best in the business. The best in the business. Eh? We can talk about if he created it or he wrote it, but the best AI poetry in the business. You see it?
I want to end with one question. If you were renewing your vows and you found out your partner
Yeah.
use AI to generate the vows, would you feel any differently about it? Think about that and answer us honestly.
Oh, you gotta find out.
I'm curious. If they tell you, So if you find out, then
Honest?
yeah.
No, no, because it's more about the day-to-day connection than the argument. No, no. Me personally.
I guess if I want to get technical and be weird, I'd ask to see the prompt. Did you just generate
Oh yeah,
vow,
yeah,
a 10-year
yeah,
vow?
yeah,
If you're
yeah. What was the
the type
prompt?
things,
Yeah,
if you prompted something
yeah,
general like that and it does
yeah,
shoot you something, then
yeah,
I would say okay, whatever. But if I look at
yeah.
the prompt and it's literally you wrote out a paragraph
Effort.
and you
Yeah, you put
told
some effort into it.
you
Yeah,
put some effort into it and it
Everett.
tweak it a little bit and add
yeah,
add
yeah,
some stuff to it, and then I wouldn't be upset.
yeah. That's good. That's a good question for the people to respond to as well. What would you do if you found out that the vows that your spouse generated at the wedding, that the vows that your spouse read was generated by AI. Drop your comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And the biddings are open right now for my art, not generated by AI. Great conversation. We appreciate this. Thank you, Natu, for finding that. People, catch us next week, every Sunday, 8 o'clock. Rimsey, what you have to say to the people?
Another legendary episode. Peace.
Yeah,
Peace out. Mad.
yeah, man.